All right, let's set the scene. Imagine you've been given a huge task. Your company is deciding whether to pump millions of dollars into a new market. It's high growth, yeah, but it's also incredibly complex and unfamiliar. The stakes? They're massive. A bad call could be an absolute disaster. It's the kind of decision that can just leave you frozen. So where do you even start?
Right? It's that classic feeling of being totally overwhelmed. You've got reports, articles, expert opinions, all flying at you, and they're all saying different things. How in the world do you cut through all that noise and find a clear path forward? Well, that's exactly what we're going to solve today. We're going to walk through a really powerful evidence-based framework.
You see, the secret to cracking a tough international business case isn't about just gathering more and more information. No, it's about getting the right information. And you structure it all around one single, powerful principle that just brings everything into focus.
And here it is. This little phrase is the key that unlocks the whole thing. It is not enough to just have a gut feeling that a market looks good. A winning analysis, a top analysis, has a clear theory, something like, hey, our premium coffee brand is going to crush it with the growing urban middle class in this new country. And then, and this is the crucial part, you back it up with cold, hard proof.
Now, to gather that proof, you need to build something we're going to call an evidence pack. I want you to think of it like a detective's case file, okay? This is not some giant binder filled with random facts. No way. It's a small, carefully chosen collection of high-quality evidence that either proves your theory right or tells you it's time to walk away. So, how do we build one?
Well, we start by looking inward. The very first pillar of your evidence pack is a deep, deep understanding of the company itself. I mean, before you can figure out if a company can win in a foreign market, you have to be brutally honest about its own strengths, its weaknesses, and its actual track record.
And you know what? The clues are usually hiding in plain sight. You go right to the source. Annual reports, investor decks, official press releases. You're hunting for what the company says about itself. What's its official business model? What does it claim is its big competitive advantage? And, super important, what's its history with expanding in the past?
Now, this is where it gets interesting, because a simple timeline like this can tell you a whole story. When you map out how a company has expanded before, you start to see patterns. Do they like to partner up with a local player in a joint venture? Do they prefer to just buy their way into a market through an acquisition? Or do they build everything from scratch, what we call a greenfield investment? This history is a huge piece of proof. It tells you what they're actually capable of and how much risk they're willing to take.
All right, so once you've got a really clear picture of your company, it's time to look outward. This is the second pillar of your evidence pack, the country context. Because let me tell you, a brilliant company with a perfect strategy can still fail, and fail spectacularly if it walks into the wrong environment at the wrong time.
This checklist right here, this is your essential reality check. We're looking at the hard numbers, things like GDP growth, inflation, currency swings, but also the institutional stuff. Are there rules that limit foreign investment? Does the government force you to use local suppliers? And this is a big one. Is the rule of law getting stronger or is it getting weaker? Any one of these things can make or break your entire investment.
And this is exactly what I mean by proof. Look at this. It's one thing to say, oh, the market has potential. It's a whole other thing to show a simple chart like this, which gives you clear, hard evidence that the target market is growing 3 times faster than the home market. This is the kind of undeniable proof that supports the opportunity part of your theory.
But hey, opportunity always comes with risk. And FX, foreign exchange volatility, is like a silent killer for international businesses. If the local currency's all over the place, your costs can just skyrocket overnight. And those profits you're earning, they can be worth a whole lot less by the time you try to bring them back home. So the bottom line is, stability matters just as much as growth.
Okay, on to our third and final pillar. You've analyzed the company. You've analyzed the country. Now you have to understand the competitive arena. Who are you actually going to be fighting against for customers and for market share once you get there?
For this part, you need to put on your strategic scout hat. You have to figure out who the key players are, understand how products actually get to customers. Is it through big, modern supermarkets or a network of tiny traditional shops? And get a feel for who really has the power to set prices in this market.
And a simple table like this one? This is an incredibly powerful piece of evidence. It tells you immediately that one local giant pretty much owns the market because of its distribution network, while another big player competes just on being the cheapest. So now your theory has to answer a very specific question. How are we going to compete against those specific advantages?
So, let's recap. You've gathered evidence on the company, on the country, and on the competition.
You now have the three core pillars of your analysis. It's time to bring it all together, to build your final case, and to move from just having a theory to having a confident verdict.
And here it is, the whole process in 4 simple, repeatable steps. First, you form a clear theory, a hypothesis. Then, you build your evidence pack by systematically gathering proof from inside the company, from the country context, and from the competitive arena. This 4-step process is your blueprint for clarity. What this framework really does is it transforms this huge, messy, ambiguous challenge into a structured, manageable process. You're no longer drowning in data. You're a detective, and you're systematically building a case piece by piece until the right answer becomes obvious.
So, the next time you're facing one of these big, complex, international decisions, you'll know exactly what to do. You'll have the tool you need. You'll build your evidence pack with proof from the company, the country, and the competition. And then, the only question left to answer is the one right here. What's your verdict going to be?